let the magic spook you.
I'm trying to focus here.
Oh, yeah. Focus on the can. Focus.
Ah, forget it!
It worked! The can is huge! And the band is huge! And you're... Oh no.
Well, not even the woke brigade could save Onward. Now, I'm fully aware that there are a variety of reasons why a movie might flop, and we're actually going to explain, or we're going to explore several of them, and then probably debunk most of them and laugh all the way. Now, you might ask, why do you take so much joy in Hollywood failing? Well, I assume you're new to this channel. I strongly dislike Hollywood. There are few, if any, peanuts left in the turd that is that town, and I enjoy them when they come out, but nonetheless, I don't want Hollywood to never return. I want it to have a renaissance. I want it to be reborn and remember that who the customer really is, and to stop worrying about pleasing foreign countries and ignoring the people that, helped build the entire industry. Onward is a new franchise in Pixar's many very large catalog, and it is the worst opening film since 2015. A film with a $200 million budget, which means a break-even point between $350 and $450 million is set to lose money. Hollywood is vulnerable and crumbling. Now, this article right here, Quartz talked about Hollywood being vulnerable. The article says, there are other issues that are already pushing a vulnerable film industry closer to the edge. I want it to get even closer. The global industry, obviously having 70,000 theaters shut down isn't helping. But you know what? I think it's great because so many of these theaters have pandered to foreign markets. Now that they're all closed, nobody wants to see their movies here. We've talked about this. So much. Like the Star Wars films and stuff like that get so watered down here in the West, but somehow make another $400, $500, $600 million in China, and all of a sudden, well, you get more reinforcement for more dreck, and that's what we're stuck with right now. We can look at AMC's share price has lagged well behind even the Dow Jones average, which plummeted more than 6 points March 9th. This is an article from yesterday's. Theaters' losses could be streaming gains. I think this is great. I mean, look, in the days of modern day 4K television and high-end Bose speaker bars and all this stuff, I would absolutely love to just be able to dual release a movie. I would probably even pay $8 or $9 to stream a new movie straight to home on release date. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I know that I'm in, not everyone has the home theater setup that I've been able to put together over the years, but watching a movie in my own living room, minus the movie theater popcorn, which sometimes my wife just picks up on her way home from work when we're going to watch a movie at home anyway. I mean, this is where the industry's really going, I would say. And you talk about, while it's no doubt to be a rough year at the global box office for the industry, most analysts will say it will eventually recover. Of course it will. Film production, distribution, exhibition, all rely on one another to keep the industry churning out content. I don't want them to just churn out content. I want them to put out great content. I want them to stop getting so formulaic with everything they do. And it's boring to me, super, super boring to me with what they're putting out. Now, Pixar decided to release, well, of course, as planned, Onward, which the film has actually been banned in several countries over what can only be described as a ultra tiny reference. Like, here's the entire woke moment of the movie. All right, here's the entire woke moment. A female police officer says, "Yeah, me and my girlfriend, blah blah blah." That's it. It's not, I think that it's a very natural existence, a very, unshoehorned wokeness. I don't think that it was one of those things that doesn't appear to be forced. And I do commend, or I'm surprised that they didn't cut it out and bend the knee, because you see Pixar's Onward banned in 4 countries over that reference. The family film will not be shown in 4 countries. Now, the officer, Spectre, voiced by Lena Waithe, has been heralded as Disney Pixar's first openly gay character. Her lines include, "It's not easy being a parent. My girlfriend's daughter got me pulling my hair out." Okay? Like, that's it. It's not like it's totally organic. I mean, look, a lot of people will misrepresent our opinions, and I know many of you agree that there's absolutely nothing wrong with having representation in movies and stuff as long as it's organic, and this is a perfect example of what I would call organic. Now, according to Deadline, Russia censored the scene in question by changing its word from girlfriend to partner and avoiding mentioning the gender of Spectre, who is a supporting character. I said, can I say that we're a girlfriend? Is that cool? I was just, this is the voice actor. I was just like, it sounds weird. I even have a gay voice. I don't think I can sound right saying husband. Like, we're like, oh yeah, do that. They were cool and chilled. So it ended up being something special. She also starred in Ready Player One and Westworld, and recently wrote the production Queen and Slim. Set in the suburban fantasy world, Onward is about 2 teenage elf brothers, voiced by Chris Pratt and Tom Holland, who go on an adventure after their mum gives them special gifts from their past father, including a letter that can resurrect him for just one day. Now, a lot of people are saying that, oh, it's the fear of getting sick that's really causing this, but it isn't. In fact, when we look at Onward, top North American box office chart on its opening weekend with taking of 40 million, which was in line with predictions. Overall box office receipts were significantly down this weekend, but experts don't blame the fear of getting ill at all. Quote, "I think there was zero impact," the senior analyst with Comscore said. With 40 million on Onward, a small drop-off for The Invisible Man at 15 million and The Way Back at 8.5 million, getting solid scores from audiences. It looks like people are still in the habit of going to the movies. Now, that's in America. I went and saw Sonic again this weekend, took the wife. Theater was still about 20% full. Theater overall was very busy. So I don't see any of that. Having this ban, I don't think, is really going to affect them. And if they don't change it, that would be ideal. If they bend the knee, then you don't get any credit. That's the problem. And you see this. Onward had the lowest box office opening for a Pixar film since 2015's The Good Dinosaur. Onward took the top spot back at the box office with 40 million, which, by the way, isn't a tiny number. But when you talk about having to make 300 million, you're not going to get there. This far outperforming fellow newcomer, The Way Back, and other top charting films like The Invisible Man and Sonic the Hedgehog, by the way, which continues to move its way to 300 million. Yet, Pixar and industry insiders are considering the animated fantasy adventure film to be a disappointment. Despite mostly positive reviews, Onward has the lowest grossing opening for a Pixar film since 2015, The Good Dinosaur, and came in vastly below projections internationally. Variety reports that Pixar's Onward debuted to 40 million, taking the top spot, but its haul makes it one of the lowest performing openers. It's interesting. It's a brand new title. There are other problems with it. The international, obviously, too. However, Onward's box office internationally has been stalling as well. The film brought in 28 million at international markets, bringing its global tally to 68 million. This is well below the projected 40 to 55 million range industry insiders expected at the offshore. So about half of what they thought. Deadline notes that people, not going to the movies for their own reasons is an issue, but I think other data disproves that. Variety reports that being sick hasn't impacted moviegoing in the U.S. Experts suggest that the outlet was the movie themselves, not fears of getting sick that stifled ticket sales. This weekend was down 50% from the same time frame last year. We saw Captain Marvel hit theaters to a massive 153 million. The drop has pushed year-to-date box office down almost 2%. Not a huge number, but down year over year. Onward had the worst opening weekend box office of any Pixar movie in the Disney era. Yikes. It's interesting to me, though, because Critics gave it an 87, fans gave it a 96, and just nobody wanted to see it. Now, this could just be one of those rare flops out there. You know, certainly the big woke crowd, the woke crowd didn't show up for it. That's, you know, the one thing I can point out that I always think is funny is all of the chatter on Twitter, by the way, all the articles, they didn't show up. They didn't go to the movie. They didn't see it. They talked about it on Twitter, but they didn't go see it. Now, there was some absurd, I think there was something about, like, what was it, Million Moms or something. You know, I think that somebody said, yeah, 1 million moms are boycotting Onward. I don't know. I don't exactly... Look, take your kids or don't take your kids, but the reference in this film, I would say, was at best a passing by that most people wouldn't even notice. You could see from back in February, the pro-family and pro-decency organization, 1 Million Moms, has launched a protest petition against the new Disney film Onward as the studio's first animated movie with an openly gay character. Quote, I do not agree with the LGBTQ agenda you are pushing on families in the upcoming movie Onward. My family and I will not watch the film. Disney has left conservative and Christian families no other choice but to avoid Onward since it goes against our beliefs and values, the group stated. Look, I don't carry those same beliefs, but I 100% respect those that do. And if that's how you want to raise your family, that's your family. And certainly it might have impacted it. Like, this could genuinely be a get woke, go broke scenario, because you're talking about families. When you're talking about families, you're not talking about me not seeing a film. You're talking about mom, dad, and 2 or 3 kids not seeing it. You know, you're losing not 1 ticket, but 3, 4, 5, 6 tickets, multiple showings. A lot of times kids see movies multiple times. So you never know. You know, I wouldn't say that this movie was necessarily pushing an agenda like some, and this kind of boycott, it doesn't look the best because it's just like, okay, this character exists. It's not like pushing it. But again, this is their right. And the actual petition says, these scenes are subtle in order to desensitize children, but now Disney has traded subtlety for internationality. Disney has decided to be politically correct instead of providing family-friendly programming. Disney should stick to entertaining, not pushing an agenda. As moms, we all want to know when Disney is attempting to when Disney is attempting to desensitize their children by normalizing this lifestyle. That's a little rough, in my opinion. That's a little rough, but these are a big group of people. You can't deny that the movie is underperforming and will likely lose money. And maybe this play just didn't work. I mean, clearly the people that respond to it negatively still exceed the number of people that actually get off their butts and leave Twitter and go see a film. But Hollywood doesn't care about that because of retweets. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.